Greetings RC fans, Sharky here and welcome back to Sharky's Garage. And this is the introduction of Project Optimus Blue. My biggest single outlay ever into the RC hobby, and a project that you will get episodes over the coming months as I build it up. There's a lot of parts here, there's a lot to talk through. I'm going to talk through the rough parts today, not all of them are here yet. And then as I build this rig, I will go through all the different phases of that. So let's get into the meat of it. Before we do that, can you do the usual things? Can you like, can you comment, can you subscribe? And can you do an extra thing? Can you share this video to one of your groups on Facebook? Facebook has changed how it's doing things, and whereas before I was able to share my videos to multiple Facebook groups from one page, I now have to share them individually. It takes a horrendous amount of time, but anybody who can and is willing to would kindly share it to one of your groups. I would very, very appreciate it. Anyway, I have coffee. Let's get into it. So this is going to be a build series. I don't know how many parts it's going to be yet. I've sketched out, and I think at the minute I'm looking at 8 to 10 parts, maybe 12 parts. We'll see what we're going to do. Today we're going to do a build break down the purpose of the build. We're going to review the parts, what I've got from where. I need to sort the body. I'm going to go for a FlySky GT7. I need to order that. I have got some blue parts on order from Brian at Small and Sound. I'll deal with that. Battery I need to order, and I'll probably speak to Steve at Kingsley Model Shop about that. I need to speak to Ian at LCG Crawler and sort out from him probably a body, because I'll be probably going with a J Concepts body, and possibly some different tyres. But there's an awful lot to take in. There's an awful lot here. So let's start with the basics, go over the stuff, and then look at it in detail. So what is Optimus Blue going to be? Well, Optimus Blue will be my ultimate crawler. It will be built to the spec for Class 2 for the GCRC competitions. I have my Class 2 sticker already. You'll understand why in a moment. It's a massive investment. Up until this point in time, my most expensive purchase was the RGT EX 86010 JK that has become Brawn. Obviously things have got added to it, it's had things done to it since then, but that was my most expensive purchase. This builder's kit alone was well more than that. So this is a Horizon Hobby Axial Capra 1.9 Unlimited Trail Buggy kit. And why have I gone for the kit? Well, yes, I could have bought a red to run, but I'm going to be stripping it down because Optimus Blue is an LCG crawler, and it's an LCG crawler using a very specific set of LCG rails, which I'll come on to in a moment. But I have the first blue set of rails for that chassis in the world, and I am enormously grateful to Gareth Curtis for that. Now, my history, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that when I got back into the hobby, I built the truck that became Little Blue. an MN99 that I tweaked and did and put a blue paint job on and put a flatbed on the back and put a spoiler on the back of it that everybody laughed about, and that I may choose to go that route with this body as well, just because it's me. So yeah, Little Blue. I took him out and he ran against all the 1/10 scale and held his own. For this GCRC kit season, for the first event up, and the name of the place has escaped me, near Durham. RC Adventure Shieldon, my brain. So I ran Little Blue up there and he failed quite well because the battery came out and stuff, but I had to go. But that was on my birthday, and Sean Baker, the chairman of the BERCC and the main guy behind the East Anglian Scale Trail, for my birthday, he gave me a hard body that I could put onto Brawn to make Brawn Class 1 legal, which I did, and then ran. And I've done a build on that. You'll see that on the channel. So I've got a Class 1 build. I have the Mauler. The Mauler came from my brother Phil, Tomley RC, and I've been running that in Class 3, but I've never had a Class 2 rig. Brawn with the hard body on is running in my usual blue colour scheme. So Brawn is big blue. The MN99 is little blue. And this will be Optimus blue because it will be the ultimate blue. It will be the ultimate crawler. And that was the spec sheet for it and all of that. I realise we're at 5 minutes and I've been waffling. So, yes, Horizon Hobby Capra 1.9 builder's kit. This one came from very local to me. Talked to a wonderful guy called Steve at Kingsling Model Shop. They predominantly do aviation RC stuff, but they stock a number of RCs. They are awesome to deal with. They have awesome customer service, and they're really nice, genuine guys, and they're literally 15 minutes from my house. So I managed to get over there and get one of these, which is, I think, on sale on their website at the moment for 348 quid. Now, why this? Well, I want the running gear out of this. I'm not going to use the chassis. I am going to use the front and rear axles. I am going to use the portals. I am going to use the drivetrain. I am going to use the gearbox with dig, although I've got new servos for that. I'm not going to use the shocks. I'm not going to use the rims because I don't think this comes with tyres. Anyway, we'll look at this in more detail there, but yeah. So the basis of this is going to be a Capra running gear installed on an LCG crawler chassis. And this is the LCG chassis in question. It is the Cayman, which is a project that Gareth Curtis at GCRC has been heavily involved in and is the head of. I don't know exactly the specifics. There is a version that has been sold in America, but the rest of the world, it's the Cayman. And I think it's in with Punk's Customs and several other people. Anyway, so there you go. And Gareth gave me some of the original stickers for it as well, because when you look at that end, it looks like a Cayman. When you look at that end, it looks like a Cayman. And that is a dig mount. And as you can see, this and the chassis rails are in blue carbon fibre. The first set in the world. When this came out, I didn't have the money to do it, to get in for the first few things. And I said to Gareth, are you going to be doing a set in blue? He said, at some point. And then I said, well, when you do, can you put me down for a set? And that's what he did. At the moment, there are no other blue sets. It was some leftover from another project that they were able to get a blue set, one set of blue rails made from. So I don't know if there will ever be any more of the rails in blue. But they are absolutely gorgeous. So, Capra running gear, Cayman chassis. 70mm wide. These are the brace kit. Running, he's pulling up the details. It's front bumper, although I've spoken to Brian at Small and Sound, and he has a license to print certain parts for this, and he is going to do this, which is the front bumper, the skid, and the sliders in blue for me. Notice this slider has a thing through for the battery strap to go through. And you'll notice this is sitting here. Why is this sitting here? Well, the Capra runs both front and rear like this. Okay, so it has both of its suspension point links to a single point. On the Cayman, there are 2 points there, so you need to have an additional grub screw to put into there. So that's that part. So let's talk about the drivetrain, because these parts also came from Gareth, GCRC. So these are aluminium mounts as opposed to the plastic ones that go onto the Capra to get me a little bit more weight on the front and rear axles, because we are looking to put weight onto the axles as opposed to the wheels, which we'll come on and talk to a bit at the end. There's been a whole discussion recently about whether rotational weight on the wheels is helping or hindering, or whether you're better off having all the weight on being non-sprung weight on the axles as opposed to the on the body. I'm including here the pinion. Now, this is an 11 tooth 32 pitch pinion, so that it doesn't foul the rails, because if you use a bigger one than this, it will cause for most motors to foul the rails. Okay. Also, you have to put the grub screw from the inside to the outside on that, because of the way that the Capra transmission with dig mounts to here. With the way that it mounts to the chassis rails, you need to have it so that this pinion, you need to run this as a maximum to run it as we're looking to run it, and you need to put the bolt through from the inside to the outside, so the nut is on the outside to give you the extra bit of clearance for the motor, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Gareth also gave me one of these, which is a longer drive shaft tube, which you can cut to length. Which is the beauty with having plastic ones, is that you can cut them to the exact length that you need, so that you're not having drive shaft bind problems. So that's why that is. And then Gareth is also the Trial UK distributor, supplier, main man. And we are going for overdrive on the front portals. So these are a set of axial STX SCX 10.3 Capra 14 tooth 21 tooth portal gears, axial 10 overdrive portal gears for the SCX 10.3 and the Capra, which will give me, I think, about 28% overdrive on the front end on the portals, as opposed to on the anywhere else in the pumpkin or wherever else. Okay, it also means that the set that comes of portal gears that come with the Capra are metal dust pumped into, or pushed and pressure formed into them. Not as good as these ones, which are and how the casting and stuff is. So these are stronger, but it means that I will have a spare set for the rear, which obviously won't be overdriven. But yeah, so I've got a spare set of gears for those. So that's the gear train. Okay. Just before we go into the next bit of this, I'm going to talk about my shocks. They will come in the next video, as they are not currently in my possession. Sean, the chairman of the BERCC and the main guy behind East, had a set of blue Dravtech shocks that he had picked up, didn't have a need for, and has sold to me, and is going to build for me. We're going for a full droop setup, and I'm going over to see him next Tuesday. He's going to build them for me, and I'm going to record that, so that'll be in the next thing. So the shocks are blue Dravtechs. They're coming from Sean, so my thanks go out to him for that. Right, talking about the rest of the electronics. Again, this Fusion motor, which is a 180 kV 540 spec brushless system for crawler, but it's got built into the back of it everything. So where a lot of people run the motor and then they run a separate ESC and then into the receiver, this has got the ESC built into the back of it. So it is a Fusion system. It's hobby wing. It's the quick run Fusion, 1800 kV 540 spec, and that also came from Sean, and he has lent me a programmer card so that we can program it and everything when that's done, because they're normally separate parts. So massive thanks out to Sean for that. The rest of the electronics come from the other side of GCRC, Gina Curtis radio control, Gareth's good lady wife and another regular face around the hobby. So Gina deals with the servo side and reefs and Demond and all of that. And so for the main servo was one of the biggest things, and I had multiple choices on this, and I decided to bite the bullet and buy a really good servo. So I've gone with a Reefs RC Raw 500. I would love for this to be blue. I have had a conversation with my brother Keldon about how we can make this blue, The blue ones are going for stupid money because they were for mental health awareness, I believe. So yeah, I haven't got a blue one, but I have a Reefs Raw 500 as a front steering servo for that. We'll come into that when we deal with the electronics, but there's the specs if you want to freeze frame that and read all of that. Because I'm going to be running dig, I needed a dig servo, so I have a Demond 6 kilo dig servo, and again those are the specs for that. So let's talk about wheels and then onto tyres and stuff like that. And I'm going to talk about this set here because it's quite emotional. My friend Franco Portelli is Maltese, and these were made in Malta. They are metal, and there are very few sets of these in the world. I think there was only 10 sets of these ever made. Last year, Franco gifted these to me and said, these are for your class 2 build when you get round to doing one. So it came with tyres, they've got foams in. So initial runs will be done with these, and then we'll see where we go from there. You can change the offset by spinning this part round in here by taking that and spinning it so that you can run them through. But with these 3 dots, and these tyres, which I'm trying to read what they say they are. They are KLRM's OTT6.com 1.9, 1.8, 4.75. I don't know what that says. I can't really read it. But they're awesome tyres and they should do the job. Now, I also got a set of these, which are Trio, and they are super heavy 1.9 beadlocks. Originally, I was going to run these on Brawn before everything happened, but these are an option. But the interesting point is, these wheels, tyres, everything mounted are lighter than these rims alone. So we will see. It's an option that I have to do it. I also need to talk to Ian Henderson at lcgcrawler.co.uk because he is in an arrangement with J Concepts, and he's testing some more tyres for class 2 and class 3. So it may be that I run these rims with some different tyres from Ian. It may be that I need more weight, and so we may try running these wheels with these tyres. We may end up running these and some other tyres from Ian. What Franco said with these is, these are never to be sold. If I get to the end of the use of these, then I am to gift them to somebody else, which is what I will do and honour that. Sorry, I'm a little bit emotional. So that's wheels and tyres. We'll pull stuff together and we'll talk about what we haven't got yet and where we're going with stuff. Right, last little segment. So where are we at? Capra Builder's Kit, Cayman chassis, servos and all of that are done. Dravtech shocks, Slicers and skids, small and sound. Brian is printing those. I've already got a set from Gareth, so I can build it and then put those on when Brian gets those done. Fusion motor from Sean. Body shell and tyres come from lcgcrawler.co.uk, Ian Henderson. Looking at the Montec, the Creep, the Gozer. Not sure which of those options I'm going to go for yet. Wheels and tyres. We've got the one-off Maltese ones from Franco. We've also got a trio set, and the tyres may be switched to ones that Ian's been testing. What else do I need to get? FlySky GT7. Battery. The battery, I'll go back to Steve at Kings Lynn Model Shop and contact him to get that. And I think that's it. So, the plan from here. Episode 2 is going to be axles and shocks. I'm seeing Sean, he's going to build the Dravtex. I didn't mention those, but yeah, Sean's building the Dravtex for me. I'll record that and put that in episode 2. And I'll look to build the axles up. So using the pumpkins, preparing the front and rear axles, getting all of that done, grease done, build that in the next one. I'll then look at the drive line and the electronics. I'll then do the chassis and the links, then the drive line and the electronics. So episode 5 maybe should be the final build with wheels, tyres, body and the first start. Episode 6 will probably be testing. Episode 7 tuning. And then we'll look into final build, probably getting the body shell painted. I may talk to my brother Keldon, depending on what time he has, or I may talk to Scott at GCRC, which if you watched any of my videos from the EARCC, Scott is featured in those and he has a body shell painting business. So that's it for today. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you haven't found it too boring. I hope you haven't found it too dry. Thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you all again soon.